once in a while I'll be referring to that screen, and then you guys can look back at me, and then you can look back at the screen. So let me go ahead and begin. A couple of weeks ago, my Facebook feed was taken over by news from Asia. My friends were sharing remarks, experiences, thank you words for a man I didn't really know a whole lot about. His name is Lee Kuan Yew, and he's the first Prime Minister of Singapore. Like I said, I didn't know a whole lot about this man, so I decided, as a good citizen of the world, to do some research. And that's what I'll be sharing with you today. Lee Kuan Yew, the man, the work, and the legacy. There is indeed much to admire about a man who led Singapore to independence, getting it from a tiny malaria-infested island you may see in this picture to a beautiful, shiny, city-state that you should see over there if I just click the right button. Going from malaria-infested island to a beautiful, shiny cityscape you see right there. How did you do it, you might ask? Well, this man made the best lemonade out of the sourest tasting lemons. He made chance of every single opportunity that he got. Let me start at the beginning. Press the right button. Lee Kuan Yew was born in 1923 in Singapore, which at the time was a British colony. As we all know from the American experience, being a British colony is tough. But then things got even tougher when Japanese invaded during World War II. Japanese are brutal occupants, and what they did to Singapore was similar to experience of many other nations. During his time when he was still younger, Lee Kuan Yew was thrown to the ground and beaten because he didn't want to bow down to a Japanese soldier. And that experience left an impact on him as he was growing up. He understood that he didn't want Singapore, his country, to be bowing down to any other nation, be it Japan or the United Kingdom. And he worked hard his whole life to bring that to fruition. Later, after the Japanese occupation, Lee Kuan Yew went on to study at Cambridge, which I'm sure was an amazing experience. That's why I don't have black and white photo, I have here a color photo. I'm sure it was a vibrant experience of his life. I also attended the University of Cambridge, so I can vouch for that. After a few years, he came back to Singapore. He started working as a successful lawyer, but the desire to pursue independence never left him. That's why in 1954, he founded People's Action Party with some of his younger colleagues, and he fought for the independence of Singapore from the United Kingdom. Astonishingly, in 1959, his party actually won autonomy from Britain. It was a huge celebration and a huge victory from Lee Kuan Yew, the party, and Singapore. So put yourself in his shoe. You're a young leader of a country, you're a prime minister, and you're ruling a tiny island that has no natural resources to speak of, no land to grow things on, and no defense. How would you protect and make your tiny nation prosper? You see, Lee Kuan Yew had an idea for that. He decided that Singapore needed to join the neighboring Malaysia that had the resources, it had the land, it had the trade routes, and it could offer defense. So for the next few years, he worked really, really hard to solidify the relationship between Singapore and Malaysia so the two countries could join together. And lo and behold, he succeeded. And in 1963, Singapore officially became a part of Malaysia. It was again a huge success for the government and for his ruling party. However, at this point, things didn't quite go according to plan. You see, there were ethnic riots in Singapore that started just a year later. It was a huge problem when people started actually killing themselves. So the Malaysian minority and the Chinese majority started fighting, rioting, and killing each other. And 23 people actually lost life during this time. Malaysia didn't know how to handle the situation. They had similar ethnic and religious issues in the country, and instead of dealing with it, they just decided to kick out Singapore. So Singapore became independent. In 1965, it was completely expelled from Malaysia against the country's will. Lee Kuan Yew cites this as one of the most dramatic times in his life. He actually said that this was on national television. He cried, and you can see some photos here of him kind of holding that in the moments of anguish. He said that this moment literally broke everything that he ever stood for, because he did not ever expect the country to be independent without any resources. But eventually, like I said, this man made the best lemonade out of the lemons that life threw at him. So he picked himself up and he worked hard. As I said in the beginning, there were some of the areas where he really succeeded, and one of them was economic growth. So for the next few years, he established this beautiful metropolis where people actually from all over the world wanted to come over, establish business, because there were low taxes, there were opportunities for people to live well in an island-like setting with great rule of law. And a lot of companies came over and took advantage of that. And of course, by being there, the locals were able to get pretty good jobs, they were able to get training, and they were able to get more money as a result. So in terms of economic growth, Singapore grew from 1959, when Lee Kuan Yew got to office, to 1990 when he left. The economic GDP of the country grew about 20 times, from about $1,000 to about $20,000, which is incredible. It's kind of unprecedented. A really big result for him. Of course, people wouldn't come and establish themselves in a country if there's no rule of law. And in a country where you have different minorities fighting for power, fighting for ethnic representation, there was a lot of strife. So Lee Kuan Yew and his government put in place very, very harsh laws. Some of the things that are still supposedly considered against the law, according to my research, are things such as chewing gum, or urinating in public toilets and forgetting to flush is actually punishable by law. Todd Barry's shaking his head yes. So it must be true. In fact, I read a recent story where a public servant received 3 months in jail and 3 canings because he defaced public property. So the laws are still very, very tough, and some people grumble about this. But that's just the price that, for better or for worse, they have to pay for this, for being in this amazing country. So what is the legacy that Lee Kuan Yew left for his people? For the Singaporeans, he left an amazing, thriving economy, a great place to live and work. And for the rest of us, for the rest of the world, he led a legacy of thoughtful and profound leadership. He made the best out of every single opportunity that life gave him. He made beautiful, smooth-tasting lemonade out of the sour, sour lemons that life threw his way. So at the end, I wanted to offer you guys to raise a toast to Lee Kuan Yew and his legacy. So maybe we'll leave this part to the end for next time, because we actually don't have time. But I really, really appreciate your time and putting up with my technical issues. Thank you so much.